I came home to surprise my wife, but it turned into a brutal confrontation. Reddit cheating stories. It's strange how life can flip in a single heartbeat. One moment, you're planning a surprise for the person you love more than anything, and the next, you're standing in your own living room, watching everything you believed in crumble before your eyes. I had been away for 2 weeks on a work trip. It was exhausting, but every night, I called my wife, Emily. Her voice was my comfort, soft, loving, full of warmth. She always said she missed me, that the house felt empty without me. Those words carried me through sleepless nights in hotel rooms and endless meetings. So when I found out I could come home 2 days early, I didn't tell her. I wanted it to be a surprise. I stopped by a florist, grabbed her favorite white lilies, and even picked up the cheesecake from that little bakery she loved. My heart was racing the whole drive home. I was excited, nervous, and just happy to finally see her. It was around 7 p.m. when I pulled into the driveway. Emily's car was there, the lights were on, and through the window, I could see flickering shadows. My first thought, she must be watching a movie. But as I stepped closer to the door, I heard something else. Laughter. A man's laughter. I froze. For a moment, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe her brother dropped by. Maybe one of our friends came over. But deep down, something felt wrong. My stomach twisted, my palms started to sweat, and my heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. I pushed open the door quietly. The house smelled of perfume, her perfume, but stronger, heavier, mixed with something else. A cologne. I set the flowers down on the hallway table and followed the sound into the living room. And there she was. Emily. My wife of 7 years. She was sitting on the couch, laughing at something a man said. He had his arm around her, and her hand was resting on his leg. The same way she used to touch me when we'd watch movies together. The cheesecake box slipped from my hand and hit the floor. The sound made them both jump. Emily's laughter died instantly. Her eyes went wide, her face drained of color. Michael. She whispered, her voice trembling. The man, some guy I'd never seen before, stood up quickly, trying to fix his shirt. Hey man, I can explain. Don't, I said, my voice shaking. Don't even try. Emily got up, her hands trembling. It's not what it looks like, she said, the oldest line in the book. I laughed. I actually laughed because it was so pathetic. Really, Emily? Because it looks exactly like what it looks like. The man, his name, I later learned, was Tom, her coworker, mumbled something and started heading for the door. I stepped aside. I wasn't about to make a scene. I just wanted him gone. Once the door closed behind him, the silence was unbearable. Emily started crying. Michael, please. I made a mistake. I didn't mean for this to happen. A mistake. I snapped. You don't accidentally bring someone into our home, Emily. Into our marriage. She tried to touch me, but I stepped back. Every word she said felt like a dagger. She talked about feeling lonely, about how I'd been distant because of work. How she just wanted to feel wanted again. And the worst part, some of what she said was true. I had been distant lately, caught up in deadlines, meetings, bills. I thought I was doing it for us, for our future. But she wanted something else. Still, no excuse could justify betrayal. I would have done anything for you, I said quietly. All you had to do was tell me how you felt. Her sobs grew louder. She begged me not to leave. But I couldn't even look at her anymore. I went upstairs, packed a small bag, and left. That night, I sat in my car. Outside a 24-hour diner, staring at the wedding ring on my hand. My mind kept replaying the moment, the laughter, the look on her face, the shock. Everything I'd built, everything I'd believed in, shattered in seconds. Days turned into weeks. She called, texted, even showed up at my office once. I ignored her every time. I was broken, angry, humiliated. But slowly, that anger turned into something else, clarity. I realized that while her betrayal had destroyed my trust, it didn't have to destroy me. I started going to the gym again. Picked up my guitar for the first time in years. Talked to friends I'd lost touch with. And for the first time in a long while, I started to feel alive. Months later, Emily reached out one last time. She said she'd been going to therapy, that she understood now what she'd thrown away. She asked to meet. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at the same cafe where we'd had our first date. She looked fragile, remorseful. I don't expect forgiveness, she said softly. But I want you to know I'll always regret what I did to you. I looked at her, and for the first time since that night, I didn't feel rage. Just sadness. I forgive you, I told her. But forgiveness doesn't mean we go back. It just means I'm letting go. She nodded, tears in her eyes, and smiled weakly. You deserve to be happy, Michael. As I walked away from that cafe, I felt lighter than I had in years. Painful as it was, that brutal confrontation had forced me to face the truth, not just about her, but about myself. Sometimes, the worst heartbreaks lead to the strongest rebirths. And that day, I realized something powerful. You can't control what people do to you, but you can control how you rise after they break you. End message. Healing doesn't come from revenge or anger, it comes from acceptance, growth, and rediscovering your own worth.